Thank you for tuning into episode 2 of this podcast series that I'm doing. And I guess camera's focusing on the sky, which I'm sure you'd prefer to see rather than my face. Anyway, so last week we had Robert Robinson, composer, audio producer, amazing person, amazing musician. What I'm doing with this podcast is interviewing anyone that has to do with music at all. And today we have some wonderful musical geniuses. We have the collaboration of the century, Not Even Three and Benton ArfHudson. I just want to quickly apologize for my audio on this video. We do these interviews through Zoom, and usually my AirPods do an okay job as a mic, but when I was editing through this, I realized that just the AirPods were not cutting it. So for the next one, I'll have some better audio, but all of their audio was fine, and they're the important people anyway. So they're going to introduce themselves to kick it off, and let's get right into it.
So my name is Benton. I am studying audio, or I guess it's a music degree with a focus in audio. I learned that recently. Um, don't worry about it. And on the album, I kind of took the steering wheel. I ripped it from Keith's hand for doing production and stuff. But that is not to say that Keith and Caden both did not help with production. They did so much. Um, and yeah, that's basically what I did.
Yeah, so I'm also a audio production major, about to graduate, and for the album, mostly songwriting stuff. I mean, it was very collaborative, and the process was kind of different for every song, but we were really just throwing everything we could think of at it. Um, but yeah, Ben was doing a lot of the mixing. There was a couple songs that I tracked while Benton was sleeping or doing other things. Um, and I also did a lot setting up mics. Um, we had like a system down. Ben was running Ableton, and I would move mics around, and we would just go like instrument to instrument, record stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm getting a BFA in graphic design, not music related. For the album, I mostly helped songwrite, played the guitar, and yeah, I was along for the ride.
Nice.
No, but you low key, you also made like the hooks and stuff guitar wise a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't want you to
fun.
sell yourself short on that.
Yes,
Thank you.
definitely.
Nice, cool. So you just mentioned, Keith, that each song was like a different, I guess, process to it. I didn't know if you guys had like Ben is the producer, Keith is the singer. Well, I know you guys took turns singing. I could just hear it, but like I don't know, Caden was the guitarist. I don't know if you guys had roles or it was collaborative to the point where everyone was just doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the idea behind it was well, Benton releases music on his own, ArfHudson,
Right,
and
yeah.
it's awesome. And me and Caden are in a band together, and
Right.
we released an EP last year, and we've been working on an album this whole year. So this project was just kind of for fun. Like we'd been talking about it for probably a year. Like,
Hmm.
oh, we're gonna go to Florida. We're gonna go to Florida, and we're gonna write music. It was never like, oh, we're gonna make an album and release it. Like it was just like, let's just go to Florida and
Oh,
record some
really?
songs. So yeah, we finally planned a date to go over our winter break. We went for a week. We drove down. Um, and yeah,
Congrats.
we were there for
Yeah.
6. Yeah, the drive was terrible.
Yeah.
We were there for 6 days, and it was like, let's just see what we could make. So but yeah, we'd never really like worked together before. Like obviously all of us are friends, but so yeah, it
Yeah.
was a lot of figuring it out, like how are we gonna do this? I think we all had some ideas for songs and just like lyrics and guitar parts and whatever, but
Yeah.
yeah. But like once we actually started, we had to figure out like how do we actually make these real
Right.
over the six
Yeah.
days. So I feel like every day it changed a lot and we made a lot of progress and like we definitely learned to work together pretty quickly, but we would
Mhm.
also learn like, okay, this is not the best way to be doing this.
Yeah. We had to
Let's
get the
change
gunk out
it.
of this system. Yeah, we it did not start fast.
Right.
I don't know what I mean, it did start fast, but it didn't start being good fast. It took us like
That's
a whole day It took
That's
us
true.
like 13 hours to be able to lock in the next day. We
Right.
spent the whole first day just trying to like figure out what we're doing. And honestly, it was fun the whole time, but we
Yeah.
listened back and we were like, fuck, something's needs to change.
Yeah, we made a stinker on the first day.
Did
was
any
the
of that make it to the album, the first day stuff?
Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first track on the album, Car Song, but the
Yeah.
one that we released sounds completely different. We kept like some of the like skeleton of the instrumental, but like before we had this like terrifying verse and chorus that we were like, dude, no one can ever hear this.
It's honestly the malignant presence within Slip and Fall as a whole. Like,
Oh yeah,
Mm,
for sure. It was the whole time we were there, it was just something that we didn't want to address. We would
right.
occasionally just be like, car song, and then we'd all be like, nah.
Yeah.
I was an early adopter of the hatred towards it.
That's kind of funny because I feel like one of the things that really stood out from the album is that it seemed I'm like I would call myself an audiophile. Like I buy expensive gear so that like I can listen to the music the best quality possible. Like, and one of the things I love is when an artist focuses on the actual like production of the album itself, like the ordering of the songs, if like a narrative continues through it. And I think it's funny you're saying this because I'm like, Car Song seems like the perfect start to what you guys are planning because you guys have a clear like narrative through the whole album. And so
Yeah.
for you guys to be saying that Car Song was like maybe a hit or a miss is kind of funny because I think it really stood out as like the beginning.
Hmm.
But we like
Yeah.
Interesting.
it was like taxidermy, honestly.
For real.
Seriously, like we skinned it and we kept like the outside of it, like the frame, like he
Right.
said, the skeleton, and then we
The
just stuffed it
vibe,
with,
the
like
energy.
Yeah.
all the other songs that we had finished like in between it, and it kind of used it as a way to set up the rest of the album.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up the narrative of it. I was talking to another person and they brought up the feeling like there was like a narrative within the album. And
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
really funny that it feels that way. Because I mean, not only are the songs relatively out of order from how we made them, um, ish, but
Sort
they all felt so different and so fast that really it didn't all come together into like a form of anything until like I don't even know, like the
Yeah.
last day. I mean, the one of the things too was I had to get this idea out of my head that Car Song was the first song. I was like, okay, it's just a
Okay,
song.
yeah.
It's just a normal
Right.
song. And then it ended up being the first song anyway. But you know, all the narrative stuff and the through lines probably just come from the fact that we made everything so close to each other that there was going to be a
Mhm.
ton of overlap. And
Right.
we also
Okay.
reused a lot of lyrics because
Right.
Mm.
it's hard.
Also,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
like little like braided melodies. Like each song has like this like this like little
Mhm.
melody in the background somewhere, or it's
Right.
like
Right.
it's in every song.
Yeah.
There's a ton
Yeah.
of stuff like that.
I think
Yeah,
except
it
for
was.
the Scorched Earth.
Mm.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
totally see that. And yeah, it is kind of funny because I think Car Song, I mean, you could obviously, you guys made it, so you can tell me if my interpretation's wrong or not. But I just because you called it Car Song, I'm picturing someone turning the dial on a radio, like changing what's going on. And
Mhm.
so for you to, Caden, to say like each song was kind of its own thing that you then put together at the end is like you started off perfectly by like putting it into your brain that each song is going to be like a turn or a click on the
Mm.
radio or like same radio station, maybe pressing next on the like when Sirius XM was like a button instead of just
Yeah.
whatever. But
That is a
yeah,
lit interpretation.
You're so
Yeah.
well, you
I
guys
like
made
that.
it, so I mean,
Yeah.
I like that a
yeah,
lot. Yeah, we
yeah.
called it Car Song because
We wrote it in the
well,
car.
we wrote it in the car.
Oh, really?
Well, on the way to Florida, we were like, we're gonna make a song in the car, and we didn't
Yeah,
because we were like extremely sleep deprived and
right.
whatever in a car. But Benton has this little like travel guitar. It's super
Okay.
tiny. So
Oh
Caden,
wait,
we
I literally have it.
no way. So Caden wrote the chords in the car, and that's pretty
Oh,
much the only
nice.
thing we kept from that. But
Yeah,
yeah, we were just calling it Car Song. And then yeah, I mean, Ben also added some car sounds in there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like that is kind of part of the narrative because that's how the
Right.
trip started, was
Yep.
driving for 18 hours. And that's also how the album
Yeah.
starts, is like, oh, we're in the car, and it's kind of just like flashing all over the place. Like,
Right.
I don't know, I feel like it captures that like dreamlike sleep deprived state that we were in,
Yeah. It
Oh
definitely
yeah.
it
and then we
gives.
lock in after that.
Yeah. It's giving like driving in the car at 2 a.m. and everyone's asleep in the car and you're like just desperately trying to find something to stay awake or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
what it
exactly.
Yeah.
No,
was.
that's literally what was happening. It was
Yeah.
medieval.
Yeah.
And so
I missed the exit.
that song, and then I pulled up here, "Scorched Earth" and "Unfocus Your Eyes." Those seem to be these like points where there's a little bit of a break in the song. But do those have any relation outside of the fact that's just like what they are for the song, for the album?
Um, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Like the one of the interludes came later. We added that in when we were able to grab Andrew to record more voice lines for us.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
originally sent like the whole car song monologue unprompted. Like we were like, send us
Oh.
some shit, but then he sent us like he's just Andrewing it up.
Yeah. I had so yeah, our friend Andrew, my good friend Andrew, he wasn't there, but he was integral to this album because
Okay.
on the
Yeah.
first day I texted him, and I just asked him to send me like him making some noise. Like it wasn't even anything
Oh,
crazy
okay.
specific. I was like, send me a recording of you making this noise. I want to put it in a song. And he
Mhm.
sent like a whole monologue. So the monologue in Car Song is Andrew just
Yep.
unprompted, just sent me that over text. It was also
Wow.
recorded through his car's like Bluetooth, so it sounded horrible. So Ben did some magic on that.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
that's all.
yeah. But we were like, this needs to be like the intro of the album because it gives it so much more meaning.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
It's
just like he just sent it to us, and we were like, all right, yeah, we're putting this in.
And the
And then yeah,
Scorched Earth one too.
when we got back to Connecticut, we were just mixing, and
Right.
Ben had an idea to have another Andrew Lude in there, so he
Yeah.
had Andrew record some stuff. It was off the cuff again, but of
Nice.
course it was magical. So
Yep.
arranged that track, and yeah.
It also
Nice.
Focus Your Eyes was something that we made right after making Waves. We
Mhm.
took the vocal stack at the end of Waves and literally just moved it, and we added in a couple like
Okay.
lower things and some ambient shit, and it would come
Yeah.
together fully later, but really it was just like
Yeah.
took
I
something and
remember
moved it.
Yeah, I remember recording that and just isolating the vocals and being like, yeah, this needs to be its own thing. Um, and yeah, it
Yeah.
worked pretty well as a transition.
Yeah. Those I guess interludes are kind of, I feel like they're pretty like you said, integral, and I think the names for them, like you chose really good names for the songs because it gives it the context I feel like it needs, and it like that there's that narrative that carries through it. And if you named it anything different, I feel like it would have maybe altered the way it comes off, which is very interesting. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
to
yeah,
call it Andrew Lude, but they said no.
Yeah, I was like, no one knows who Andrew is.
yeah, that would
It'll
have been,
always be the Andrew Lou to us,
yeah,
but
that would have
That's
been a
true.
good narrative for maybe like six people, and
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah, cool. So then I know, so I wasn't sure if anyone took the lead on production, but Ben, you said you had, or Benton, you said you had maybe taken a little bit of the lead on that. So what were some of the things you were using that were, obviously I'm sure you're using a lot of everything, but what were like the main things? I know you mentioned Ableton earlier, but
Yeah, Ableton was the DAW that we produced this on. It's just the one that I'm the most comfortable with.
mhm.
Um,
We used one mic.
One mic.
Yeah.
One
Benton
ish.
can talk about Benton could talk about Ableton and plugins and stuff, but I could talk a little bit about the like actual hardware that we brought because it wasn't much. It was
Yeah,
like
I mean, one mic
mostly
is
my
kind of
stuff.
crazy.
But yeah.
started with
So
this SM7B.
yeah, Ben's
Wow.
SM7B. I don't think we used it for anything. It
Well,
took a
it
tumble
fell
off the
over.
desk and it has a dent now.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
it
Has a
was a soft
soft
spot.
spot.
I
Yeah.
think I got it on video
But
too. We recorded everything with this camera that I brought, and there's
Nice.
a million like random little funny moments.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of like hardware, I brought my monitors, the HS5, Yamaha HS5 and
Hmm.
the HS8S subwoofer. And we got pretty lucky with the room we were in because there was a bunch of like chairs and a couch and a bunch of
Right.
curtains against the wall that we had the speakers against. So it
Hmm.
actually sounded pretty nice in there. But for mics, I had the Lauten LA220. It's a large diaphragm condenser. It sounds amazing for the price, and I had just
Right.
gotten it like a few weeks before, so that was awesome. And then SM57, and yeah, we had the 7B there, but we didn't really use it much. It was
Right.
kind of just getting creative with those two mics, and
Yeah.
every now and then we'd record stuff on the phone too if we wanted like
Oh,
another
okay.
room signal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, then Benton worked his magic in Ableton.
Yeah. I mean, the production values is like, I mean, compliments to all of you guys, but like, I think what spoke to me the most was the production, just because you could tell there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into that. And
Yes.
now that you guys are telling me it was like 3 mics max, like the production must have been crazy.
I
It
mean,
was also,
really everything was recorded with the production in mind, like down
Oh,
to
okay.
like how the guitar was played. Like tones of things were not based on how they sound or how they were written. For the most part, it was like, what will this sound like in the mix?
yeah.
And so
Oh,
it
okay.
was
Yeah.
a pretty different approach than at least I've ever taken, and it was pretty interesting to see because the guitar wasn't a guitar; it was like the sound that a guitar would make, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. More
Right.
absolute.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, because I'm like a very much an electronic producer. Like
Yeah.
from the get-go, I don't play any instruments at all. I
Right.
just sing and I like program synthesizers and use plugins and stuff.
Hmm.
So this was kind of a challenge for me, like to figure out how to record guitar
Yeah.
and mandolin and other people's voices and everything else. And most of the drums are samples that I processed. Um, all the guitars are real except for one, I think. And
Day one.
oh yeah, the bass guitar in day one is not
Oh,
real.
okay. Got it. Yeah.
It sounds okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just trying to like get creative with the production. And having Keith and Caden there really helped, like because they had a lot of amazing ideas and also funny ideas. Like the fact that it
Right.
was fun the whole time made me happy, and it made the production
Yeah.
easier to work on.
Yeah, and you could tell the chemistry is there for sure because I had figured you guys had already worked together making music and stuff. So to hear that you guys, this is like, not only had you not made music, like you trying to plan a trip to Florida and having never collabed.
Yeah, with
So
like
I
two
mean,
mics and a couple
yeah,
guitars. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty.
The car was packed. We could not fit any more mics. It was bad. Like we had
It's
to
brutal
leave some
set.
stuff behind.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
you get a huge sound out of it though
hmm
for what it was, and
yeah, especially in something like Charlie.
yeah,
yeah, yeah, for sure. And yeah, that's exactly too, because I was gonna get to that a little later, but the talking about the album like structure itself, like I'm really a sucker for like every song, having its own, like if the second song was the fourth song, it wouldn't work out. I feel like that's what you guys get at. And I'm a sucker for if the last song, once the song finishes, if you just sit there and you need like a moment of silence to like process what just happened, like, and then Charlie, there's that huge, like, it climaxes and then it comes down to this, like, I don't know if it was finger picked or whatever, but it's like soft singing, soft guitar after this huge like
Hmm.
Do you
feedback
want to
loop or
talk about
whatever
how we
was going.
recorded that?
What'd you say?
what?
Want to talk about how we recorded that? Because that is what it
Yeah,
is, and it was very different
definitely.
from the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way um Charlie was a song that I wrote. That was one of the few songs that we had written beforehand. I wrote it over the summer, so like 6 months prior
Okay.
to the trip.
Got it. Yeah.
And I was just struggling with finishing it, but I had some stuff going on, so I was able to write another verse. And then I was like, okay, I don't really know what to do with this. So I sent Caden and Ben a voice memo. I was like, hey, I have the song. Here's my idea for it. And I was actually listening back to that voice memo a few weeks ago because it's kind of funny how close
Mhm.
we got to what I was saying with the final
Right.
result. But the way I think about it, it's like a perfect blend between Benton's production style and my production style.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like the first verse and yeah, those first two verses, like I recorded like a demo for at home. And we didn't stray too far from that in the Florida
Right.
version.
Yeah.
And then you can hear pretty clearly when Benton got his hands on it with that crazy
Yeah.
synth build. And it's
Yeah.
like,
That
oh
was me in
my
like
God.
30
And
minutes.
then there's
Wow.
that huge climax before the big ending, just
Mhm.
where the chords are recontextualized with that like big bass and the
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
screeching lead. It's
Yep.
literally the same chords and for the most part the same stems too, just
Mhm.
Benton producing it like completely differently.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm like so glad that I brought that song there because
Me
I
too.
like I don't know, I think it turned out exactly how it should have. Um
Mhm.
but yeah, and then that big ending. I mean, Benton could talk more about the production on that, but a lot of guitar layers, synth layers, and then
Yeah.
for that final verse, that I actually wrote while we were down there. I didn't have that written yet. It just I didn't think it should end on the big chorus. It just felt kind of abrupt. So I wrote one
Yeah.
last verse, and yeah, we recorded it just like complete contrast to the previous section. Literally
Yeah. Yeah.
just one mic in the room and
Wow.
just me playing guitar and singing. Um, one take, and then that was the final verse. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
the the room had like this refrigerator in it because the place that we recorded in was literally it was like one room with a wall in the center of it that divided it sort of.
Yeah.
Um, and so we had to like unplug the fridge to record Keith. I think we just did like one mic, right?
We did.
yeah, it was
There's
just the
a
Loughton, probably like 3 or 4 feet away, and yeah,
And then
I
like
remember
the
standing there with the camera watching you play and sing that, and I was like, "Damn, yeah, this is the end. This is crazy." It was like one of the last ones that we finished too,
Mhm.
um, and it was around this stage where we were listening to the whole thing through every time we like
Okay.
finished something. But
Yep.
it's funny you should mention like the soft finger picking and the soft vocals because it was like I don't even know how late it was when we recorded this. We were fucking whipped. We were drunk. Like it was, there was a lot of beer and a lot of
Yeah.
smoke on that
that was
trip.
the last day.
The soft vocals and the soft finger picking suit it so well. And I remember standing there with the camera watching Keith like do this take, and I was getting so emotional. I was like, "Oh my god, this has to be how it ends." And that
Yeah.
last like harmonic
Yeah. Yeah.
moving the thing. There's a couple different. We use the audio from the camera
Mhm.
on the
Oh
last
wow.
little thing to,
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
yeah.
I believe.
I
Huh?
don't know if we used the camera audio, but we had a
It was
DI
some of the
signal recording
sound
too.
source. Yeah,
It
I
yeah,
was
yeah. It
yeah,
was that.
like for the majority of that verse, we only used the Loughton mic, but
Right.
I had DI running as well.
Oh,
We didn't
okay.
end up using it except for that last chord, just because it
yeah,
brought out
I
like
wanted to
this
like pan out
richness in the
so high.
harmonics.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The big section, the
Yeah.
hamburger. Yeah. That that whole thing is being God, this isn't gonna mean anything to anybody who listens to this and doesn't know what a clipper is, but like um effectively like the bass is so loud that it's creating like interference with every other piece of the
Okay.
guitar and everything. So like balancing that was a nightmare,
Yeah.
but it was a good nightmare. So a dream, I
Yeah.
guess. Um,
Type shit.
and I don't know. I think it added to the song. We were fighting over how to put the sections in as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We eventually settled on what we had initially.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, that's my
honestly,
bad.
that happened a few times, honestly. It was
Mhm.
like,
Yeah,
oh shit, well, maybe we should change blah 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 blah. And then it was like, no, let's just go with what we had.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. First
Goes
I
to
Yeah.
just
show
No.
that you should never change anything and you always get it
Right.
right on the first try.
Yeah. Exactly. And that was I remember what I was gonna say you get some really big sounds, but it doesn't sound like there's like clipping or any kind of like distortion from being too loud. So like what did you do to get those huge sounds, but then it fits like the threshold of what you need for it to sound good?
Do you have like an example?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about that Charlie section where it's huge, and I'm just thinking. I mean, I obviously I'm not a producer, but if I were to be throwing this into Logic, I'm sure you have massive layers of instruments and stuff. And if I were doing this, I'd have like red clips for every single thing, you know, like 24 decibels above where it needs to be. So what were you doing that had it into that range where you're like, all right, this is something I could actually release and not hurt people's ears?
Um, well, like I I really don't know. There's these plugins that allow you to like have something hit a certain threshold of
Yeah,
loudness and then it
yeah.
just stops. It cuts it off. And that's like
Okay.
a clipper.
Mhm.
But then you can like change the softness on it so it doesn't sound like it's clipping.
Right, right.
And then like the thing I mentioned earlier with like the bass being so loud that it's distorting everything else, it's because it's like it's pushing all these other sounds against the clipper, and that's why it sounds so massive. And on top of
Right,
that, like
okay.
being panned to the side while the bass is in the center.
Yeah,
It's it's really nerdy, but
yeah.
it makes it sound amazing.
Right. And so using one mic, did you take multiple takes or were there a lot of one take things?
Depends on the song.
Depends, yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's one song where we did everything in one take, and
Okay.
it was so chill. It was waves.
Okay.
But then there are other songs where, like Lucky, where I was sitting fucking up this one guitar like 600 times before we got one that sounded good, and then it
Yeah.
was like, okay, now just do it again. We need a double. Fuck, you know.
Yeah.
Was it was it the do 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 or the do do
Yes,
do 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 do?
yes, it was both. It was
Both.
another
Yeah.
thing about the guitar being used less like an instrument and more like a source of sound
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like a textural thing is that a lot of the guitar parts that are in there are so weird to play because they're covering like ranges. Like it's the guitar
Mhm.
is in the middle and it's not, I don't know, very different from what I usually work with. I like to fill
Yeah,
out like the whole sound and do all this weird stuff like moving the
right.
bass around and all that. But especially in a song like Lucky or even in Please Let Me Win, it's like focusing on keeping things within a certain range and moving things in a way that
Mhm.
makes sense. But
Yeah.
particularly in like Lucky and Day One, it was so brutal. Those songs are hard to play,
Yeah.
They were crazy.
but they're really fun
Now
though.
there was some, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, there were some distorted guitar parts, right? Or
Oh
was
yeah.
it acoustic guitar layered through kind of a virtual amp or something?
There's a
Um,
lot of electric guitar.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was figuring. And then, but I like that you're saying that because it's not like you were doing some kind of rock and roll thing. It was like you were going
Mhm.
for the sound of a distorted guitar to fill in some space,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
which is
think
Mhm.
pretty cool.
it was pretty funny. It's like a completely different approach to what we usually do. Because I'm
Yeah,
much more of like a mic the room, like,
right.
get it sounding good in the room through an amp
Okay,
and then
yeah.
mic the room. And then Benton is like, let's just do it DI. And
I
then he
love
treats it like and he treats it like a synth and just puts and
Yeah,
it sounds great. It's just like,
right.
yeah. So there's both approaches on different
Yeah,
songs. And I think you can tell which is which, but they serve
for
their
sure.
purpose.
For
Yeah,
sure.
definitely those songs where now that you're saying this, there's some songs I could tell it's like, okay, like there must have been some big collaboration with like, oh, let's get this sounding really good in the room first, and then you do some crazy work on the other end as well. So
Mhm.
I don't know if because Lucky sounds to me like one of those songs. I don't know if that's maybe if I'm
Yeah,
wrong there. Yeah.
Yeah,
completely.
actually, yeah. I mean, the original pass through of the chords and stuff, me and Keith were playing guitar and bass at the same time, playing
Okay.
it together. So it does have like kind of like a live-ish feel,
Yeah.
in spite of like how processed it is and like how meticulous everything was like,
Right.
arranged and worked on.
Yeah.
I think it's what gives it like that feel that it has. It's filled with
Yeah, for
energy,
sure.
not just because it's fast and kind of loud
Yeah.
and like fun and quirky, but also because it's partially recorded live.
Yeah.
Um, And yeah, so it carries the energy of like it was probably like 10 a.m., 9 a.m. when we were
It was
laying
really
down that
early.
original thing. We weren't
Yeah.
thinking like this is going to be the first song of the album. Bam, bam, bam. We were
Right.
just like, let's play the guitar and the bass at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
And we do that in a couple different points in a couple different
Mhm.
songs. But yeah,
Yeah. I think Waves is probably the best example of that, like the
Yeah.
duality between our
Mhm.
styles.
Yeah.
Caden and I recorded that while Ben was asleep, I think. It was in the morning, and we were just jamming on guitar and mandolin, which is how we usually write our songs. And
Mhm.
yeah, we had some chords, and we are like, let's just record this. So I set up a couple mics. I put the 57 on Caden's guitar. I was sitting across from him, and I put the condenser on the mandolin. And
Mhm.
we just recorded through it. We didn't have a structure or anything. We were just
Right.
jamming, recorded a pass. We were
Yeah.
like, all right, we'll come back to this later. And we ended up just using that as the like basis for the whole song. Like the entire instrumental is that take, and we didn't change it at all,
Oh,
except
okay.
for just
Yeah.
duplicating the last thing because it ended up being the chorus. But
Right.
yeah. And then yeah, and then later on, Benton went in and kind of added some more refined production stuff,
Right.
I don't know.
and created this really lush soundscape. And yeah.
Yeah. And so now that you're using Ableton, was there any? Because I know Ableton's used a lot in like live processing. So were there any moments where you were recording into Ableton as you were processing live something, or was it all post stuff?
Honestly, I think it's mostly post. Like I'll turn on
Right.
auto-tune when I'm like sketching a melody or something just because it helps.
Mhm.
Um, it helps me like just get the notes locked into my head of what the
Right.
be, but I don't think so. Maybe on day one when I was because I wrote that one in my house like 4 or 5 days before we left.
Yeah.
Not the whole thing, just like the main riff for it. And I was like playing my guitar into the distortion and just hearing how it sounded.
Right.
But that's
Yeah. And it's I like that you mentioned the auto tune because one of the things I thought was really cool was that like there's like the 2012 auto tune where like people thought it just sounded cool, and then we strayed from that and we got like auto tune to make it sound like people can sing better than they actually can. And I feel like you
Mhm.
brought back this like auto tune to make it sound cool, not because you can't sing that well, but it's like it adds that timbre where it's like this fits the song. I'm thinking about Lucky specifically, where there's like some moments where you like I don't know maybe if it was auto tune or not, but you're like these like runs that are like purposely supposed
end
to
of the
sound
second verse.
electronic. Yeah, exactly. Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's
That's
yeah.
exactly
real.
what it is.
That was straight up. That
Oh,
was
that
just
was
straight up Benton. I mean, there is auto tune on it, but
yeah.
that's just what Benton sings like. The auto
That's
tune
so
is
crazy.
purely stylistic. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was an amazing thing to watch Ben work and sing, but mostly like just from a technical perspective,
yeah,
uh, Benton is a computer. He's a machine, and those runs in Lucky and those vocal moments, like I imagine the one you're talking about is at the end of the
yeah.
second pre-chorus. Doo doo
Mhm.
doo. That's
Yeah,
like
it's yes, that.
that's just straight up
Yeah.
Benton. That is like
That's
that's
Oh,
how
Yeah.
it
that's
hard.
pretty
is.
epic.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's purely stylistic. Ben is an
Yeah.
incredible singer, and I love Ben's voice without autotune. But
Yeah.
You guys are
the
making me
yeah,
blush.
the autotune brings it together. But yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
definitely stylistic. But I remember Ben singing that, and I was just like, "Bro, what?" He was like,
That that's actually
"This
really,
is
really
literally
epic.
like I don't remember what song it's in, but that like stupid high like whistle note. I think it's in Pimp Down.
Down.
It sounds like totally pitch shifted up, but it's not. Bro just sang that.
Yeah.
It's like you do the thing where you inhale in like
The computer's not even picking
Yeah,
it up.
it's so good. It's
wait,
too good that Zoom's cutting it
It's
out.
too high, bro. It's outside of the range of human hearing.
I'll bring it
Yeah.
down.
But
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, the Zoom's picking
Yeah,
it up a little bit,
let's
but
go.
Vocally, vocally,
I'm gonna have to re-listen.
very taxing. All
Yeah,
of the singing on this thing, so whack. Like it
Yeah.
was awesome. But really, because we were doing everything so fast, it wasn't like, how does this feel to sing? It's more like, can I sing this one time?
Yeah, no,
Okay. Yeah.
And so it's like the instrumentation. It's like this. It is not easy to sing because we just got through it. We survived, and it sounds good. We're leaving it.
Yeah.
But there were some things where we had like a million takes of it
Right.
vocally. But I think the singing on this thing is something to spotlight.
Yeah. Nice. And it's funny you bring that up because I think I saw you guys. I don't know if you've done it already or it's coming up. A live performance at the like student association thing.
Mhm.
Did that already happen or is it coming
Yeah,
up?
that was last weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you say that, how do you go about playing this live? If
Well,
yeah,
that was the
how do you do
first
that?
time we did it, and it didn't go exactly as we had planned. But all things considered, we played and sang well. I think the biggest
Yeah.
struggle was just figuring out our routing because we
Mm,
want to incorporate a lot of those produced elements.
yeah.
Um, like the way I think about it is like Ben might not be playing like guitar or something, but like that is his instrument.
Right.
And like we can't leave that out. So we wanted
Exactly.
to we went through and made or Ben went through and made backing tracks for each song, keeping elements that we wanted to keep, and then Caden and I were playing everything else on guitar and mandolin.
Okay. Yeah.
And but yeah, we wanted to keep the auto tune, so we found a way to run the mics through Ben's Scarlett and then out to the
Oh,
board.
okay.
Um, yeah, all things considered, we made it through. Um, but yeah, we definitely got to figure out like the mixing element. We got to get someone who like knows like what's
Yeah.
happening when because it's just like so specific and intense the whole time. That's like,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
We
It
have
must be
we have
tricky.
another show coming up on June 6th, actually, for that.
Okay.
So we got to figure it out by then.
Yeah.
Wait,
So
we should chill. We're opening for Ethan Fisk and the
Oh,
Big Love.
nice. Cool.
yep.
See us. I know
Nice.
that you're in Buffalo, but take a plane.
Yeah. I'll drive down.
Let's
type
go.
shit in the
Yeah.
spirit.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I would imagine you would need someone who knows the song pretty well because it's like you
Mhm.
produced it. So, but you need to also perform it. So it's like a tricky thing to figure
Yeah.
out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think to some extent Ben can mix us from on stage, but like that
Yeah.
only goes so far to where like someone needs to
Yeah.
be doing like front of house stuff, make sure we sound good. But Ben is
Right.
constantly doing vocal processing for us.
Yeah.
Um, that sounds awesome. And
Yeah.
yeah, and
This
then
might
just
be
like
in like,
making sure the tracks are leveled with the live instruments is tough.
right.
Yeah, that it does take a lot of time to set up. We've learned that, and that's probably like the biggest hurdle. Other than that, like the performance part is fine, I
Right.
think.
Yeah.
He
Sure.
does a lot of the
Yeah.
heavy lifting with the guitar
Yeah.
by far.
I'm not, this might be a niche reference, but the I know Pink Pantheress is like a solo producer. It's like she produces her own stuff. And so that's what I'm kind of picturing as like if you see her like live streams or whatever, like it's just her holding a microphone and the computer in front of her, like doing all the things. So I would imagine you'd maybe even bring the computer on stage. Like, is that
Oh
something you
yeah.
Yeah,
would think through doing? Yeah, right.
because I have to like swap through the presets that I have for
Yeah,
the auto.
exactly.
The
Right.
keys change, and I can't be singing in chromatic ever again. But also, Pink Panthers, I think recently, great call out. Also, shout out
Yeah.
collab with me. I love your music. Shout out Danielle Laurel. She now has like this DJ who's honestly like kind of taken the spotlight. People love him.
Yeah.
He sits
Yeah.
behind her. He like does all the mixing
Yep.
and stuff, same way that
Yep.
I'm doing it with like Caden and Keith.
Right,
And
exactly.
I guess that's like the concept behind it,
Yeah.
your idea.
Yeah. Right. And it works well. Like it's a viable option for performing live,
Yeah.
which is cool. Yeah. And so just the last couple things, as I was listening through, because I wanted to talk about I wanted to find like one or two specific songs to talk about, and I was like, which one sounds like the hit? Like which one's the hit song? And I honestly it's giving Michael Jackson Thriller, like every song is like its standalone thing. Yeah, I know, crazy analogy, but like it's like each song is its own, like you can't just be like Oh, that one's the hit. We'll just talk about that one. So I don't know if there's a specific song that you guys really feel passionate about and resonated with that you want to specifically spend some time like talking about maybe the meaning behind it, how it was produced, maybe like the struggles, maybe a song you struggled with and then ended up sounding really good.
Well, I mean, the
Mm,
two that come to mind, I think of "Slip and Fall," which was the first single, and I
Okay,
think
yeah.
of for "Challenging," I think of "Pimp Down."
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
I
yeah.
was gonna say, yeah, for challenge, definitely Pimp Down. I think that's unanimous. That was evil. Um, yeah, I think Slip and Fall, in terms of our like collaboration, I think that one,
Mhm.
because that one we made from scratch entirely. But just
Okay,
listening through now from more of an objective standpoint, I think Please Let Me Win takes the cake for me.
okay, yeah,
But that was a song that Benton had released prior on one of his own projects that we
got it.
just like um, rearranged and
Right,
made into more of like a folk style thing. And I
Yeah.
just love that song. I think it's great.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Cadence.
What do you think, Ben?
Mhm.
I don't think I'm low key. I'm disqualifying Please Let Me Win because that's a cover.
Fair
But
enough. Fair enough.
I do love it. I think it's in its true form in the album. Caden sent me a voice memo of him playing Please Let Me Win on guitar. I think probably 2 years ago now.
Mhm.
That's where
No,
I
it was last summer while I was in Spain. It was a long, almost 1 year ago, and it was pretty fun. It was on like this nylon string guitar that I got from some random store for like 40 euro. But I don't know, Ben's EP had just come out, and it was
album.
Cute Practice album. Benton's album Cute Practice had just came out, and I loved it. I adore that album, and I listened to it just all the time. And Please Let Me Win was the one I came back to the most, and so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna figure out how to play this thing because that's what I do with all the songs that I like. And
Mhm.
It's in a
yeah,
half key.
it is in a
That's
half key, and so I brought it down to I was like, F sharp or F major, and so F major. But
sounds
yeah,
better.
it's just warm. It's such a pretty
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
I think it's definitely I think I forgot about that one, honestly. I think that one could be what people really fuck with Please Let Me Win.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that one could be the hit, but that one we recorded super early on.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
That was like probably first day, right? At
Yeah,
least like
yeah.
basic part. I think we
After
could.
we needed something that we knew would be easy to make
It was on
really
the second
good.
day because the first
Yeah,
day we made Car Song, we were like, oh no. And the
yeah,
second day we started Charlie and we recorded Please Let Me Win because we already had the song. So we
Right,
just
right.
like fleshed out the arrangement,
Yeah,
recorded it.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
when we first got to the place, we were all like deliriously tired, and we like we're setting shit up, and there's a video of when we got there. It's like it's sweaty and humid in there, and we had just come back from like a goddamn snowstorm in Connecticut, and there's a video of Keith emerging from the bathroom with me and Ben just kind of singing that. But we one of the first things we did is like a trial run of how everything would sound is
Right.
we sat on the couch and we recorded in a sleep deprived, beard up state. Please Let Me Win on the couch, and obviously that version will never be heard. I don't even know if we kept anything from it,
I
but
have it.
you
Now
do.
we have it.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
God,
It's my DAW.
we got to listen to that at some point.
I love.
But yeah, I don't know. It is hard to look at any one song from the album because they are so different and
Yeah.
they all kind of have legs. But I don't know if we could talk about the challenge of Pimp Down because I feel like that's one that we all have a different perspective on the struggle for.
And
Yeah.
then we should at least finish on Slip and Fall. I think the way that we recorded that was super unique.
Yeah, that was
Because
pretty fun.
this idea, but we'll get to that. Who wants to talk?
That one took a whole day.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So did Pimp Down.
Pimp
Um,
Down, yeah. For
Took a
most of the
long
days, we would do like two songs a day,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
the day we did Pimp Down, that was it, man. And also like just like the general workflow for this trip was like we'd get up in the morning, um, and we'd start working pretty much right away. and we'd work till like, I don't know, like 1 or 2 or 3, and then we'd go somewhere like just in Florida, like go explore,
So get
Right.
a sandwich and out.
go on a hike, go to the beach, do something, just hang out, and then go back to the house and record until like, I don't know, one or
One.
two in the morning,
Right.
and then yeah, every day. So by the time we got to Pimp Down, we that was on the fifth day, I think. It was towards the end, fourth or fifth day. So I feel like at that point we learned to gel really well, and we had like a more refined process, and we'd learned a lot of like things that were like repeatable. But at that point we were all just so tired
Right.
and like getting to the point of being burnt out. So it's like we have these technical skills now, but we're all like out of it and low key like bickering.
Yeah.
So
Right.
um
Well, the
and
bickering
yeah.
came later for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it was there at the beginning. Because I remember
Yeah.
fighting with you about the riff, and I was like, "This has to be the chorus."
I
Like,
know. With the Pimp Down was a guitar part that I wrote at home over winter break. What
Get
usually
the
ends up
guitar.
happening is I have like one guitar part that I hyperfixate on for like 2 months, and then that's it.
Right.
And then usually it goes on to be recorded like months later. This did not happen. It was recorded like a week after I'd spent the whole break just like agonizing over this. And in my mind, I was writing a chorus. I was writing like, or not a chorus, I was writing a verse. I was writing like this, just like usual, like, something in the background. But when Ben and Keith heard it, they were like, okay, this is the part. And I was like, I don't know. That was hurdle number one. That is where we started. We started with an immediate challenge.
Yeah.
We recorded it and it was just weird. And it transcends a few different keys and like the main little riff that leads into the chorus, which eventually settles in a slightly uncomfortable spot in any capacity. But we laid down the guitar first, and then we kind of just slapped together a verse with like this little bass pluckage thing that was going on. We were like, okay, we have an instrumental. That was so brutal. And while all that was going on, we were also working on the lyrics and the concept. And it was originally called Fish Tank because we were working off the line, thinking my tank off.
Okay.
And which turned into like, Fish Tank and whatnot. But so, struggle with the instrumental, struggle with the concept. We fight through these lyrics, and it's like, oh my God, finally we have something usable. And that was just the beginning. Yeah, you guys can expand. I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
Yeah, it was, yeah, that riff, like, I don't even know. I feel like I approach things like with music theory a lot of the time. Um, but Caden has like the opposite approach because he's an incredibly musician, but he's not studying music, so he doesn't have like the theory background.
Right.
But he's also like the most creative person I know, honestly. And he comes up with this crazy stuff that I would never think of. And I'm just like trying to think like, how would I even explain this? What can we sing over this? I don't know.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a good experience for me to be like, all right, it's fine. Like I don't have to know.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we had to write some vocal harmonies that would help it like settle in a bit more. And I still don't really know how to explain it, but it worked out.
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to talk about that, Ben? You were a big part of the arrangement for that thing.
So the issue with that guitar part is that it goes through and I don't know very much theory at all. Like I know I went to school for this, but I have a really bad mind for remembering things and knowing stuff. But I asked one of the professors here if they could take a listen to it so I could get their opinion and their like appraisal of it. And they said that riff goes through 3 separate keys and then settles on a key that the rest of the song is not in.
Okay.
And so I had to find like a customized like auto-tune preset, I guess. It's like C sharp major with added accidentals in it.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, just generally harmonies that are not built on fifths and fourths wouldn't really work in it. So you have all these like whack chords throughout the whole thing, and it doesn't make any sense. And it's so harmonically dense in the chorus, but not in the verses at all.
Mm.
That it's just kind of like lopsided and asymmetrical. I remember like the drums took a year. I think I spent a lot of
Wow.
time on them.
Yeah.
They really bring it together, though.
Torturous. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
they do.
Heavily inspired by Door by Caroline Polachek, like just
Okay.
super depressed, like cymbals and high sounds. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
writing the harmonies was a bitch.
Oh my god, every single part was a bitch. Playing the guitar alone in a vacuum now with the rest of the song in mind, which I've done a couple times since then. Just kind of hearing it just for fun because it's fun to play. I'm like, man, it is a miracle that this song came to be. If we had tried to do this any earlier, there would be no Pimp Down.
Right.
But yeah, so that one was pretty challenging. And then we finished it and we were like, oh, this is it. We're done. This
Yeah.
one could be like a secret one that people like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
It worked
more
out, and
though.
yeah, and like we made it through, and then we were able to kind of get back into the flow the next day.
Yeah.
Because like the chorus I wrote just about feeling creatively stuck, and I was just feeling frustrated. Like the line "spending hours in the box," like no one's gonna pick up on it, but I was just writing
Right.
about how much time I spent in Logic. And how bad I felt about my mixing abilities, and like
Right.
and also at this point in the trip it was like, oh my god, I can't
Right.
like think.
God.
I can't. Yeah.
There is a
Um,
line, my brain
so-
is a hamster, is on there. It really is illustrative of where we're at.
but it worked out. I think we had like a new creative burst after that song. And
Yeah.
also for me personally, this trip was like I learned so much, and like coming back after and working on like our other projects again was like I felt super refreshed, and I had a lot of
Right.
new ideas,
Yeah.
and I was able to do a lot of new stuff. So
Yeah.
it worked out.
Right.
Also, there's more about that song and the hurdles. Last thing, it's quick. We
Yeah, go for
finished
it.
the song. We bounce it out. We're doing like the car
that's
test,
right.
like we're listening to it in the car. Everything sounds normal. We're at like number 8 in what we're listening to. Every other song has sounded great. We get to Pimp Down. First half, amazing.
Yeah.
3/4 half, great. That doesn't make sense. And then like towards the end, there's just like this weird sound that just keeps appearing, and it sounds like, you know, like when a car's bass speaker is blown out and it goes like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like it
Yeah.
sounds like that, and we couldn't
Yeah.
tell if it was like the car's bass that would blown out or if it
Right.
was the song. And so I had to go back in, find out what was causing it, which I couldn't find. It took like a week, I think, to like fix it.
It was so bizarre because
I've
it
never
wasn't there playing in Ableton. It was only when we bounced it out.
Oh, okay. Right.
It was so weird.
I
We
think it
thought
was
we
a
just blew out the
Uh,
car speaker.
Oh, and when we were mixing it, my computer started indexing, so we weren't able to like touch it for like
Oh,
3
okay.
hours, which was
Jeez.
whack.
So bad.
We thought we were gonna lose stuff. There was a point
Yeah.
in the trip where, because of this stupid Apple computer nonsense, we just nothing was working. Like I don't even know how to describe it. Like everything was running really slow, and we couldn't open files, and it was just
Right.
like it was so stupid. It was so stupid. And we were was that the spicy margs night?
It might have been.
Yeah. Well, so we were also quite drunk during this.
We had a
as well.
good time. We had a good
I
time.
was so sober. I
That's
was
lit.
sober.
Yeah, it was brutal. But yeah. Do you have any
Yeah.
other questions?
No, I mean, if you want to, Benton, you said you want to wrap up with Slip and Fall. So if you want to
Oh yeah.
initiate that, and then yeah.
Caden, do you want to
Yes.
start? It was your idea, the way that we like recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite album of all time is called Threesome. It's by a group called Baby Boys. And one of their songs is called Flower. And what they did was they made an instrumental, and then they went into different rooms, and they all wrote the whole song. They were like, let's
Okay.
write a melody and let's do this. And so I took that idea, the whole thing, and I was like, one of the goals for this trip is I want to do that because there's 3 of us and we
Right.
all write songs. But as they say. But we on the first day I was just like sitting playing these chords and Ben Keith's like, "Oh, what's that?" They both like perked up and they were like, "Okay, yeah." And so I was like, "All right, yeah, I'll hold on to these." And it was like this tremolo guitar that I was just messing around with. And that song is just layers and layers and layers. That song, the instrumental, felt like the closest thing to me and Benton combining.
Okay.
We did that on all of them, but in Slip and Fall in particular, everything was I would do something, that he would do something, then I would do something, and it kind of just it built on itself really fast and very easily because we were able to take each other's ideas and run with the energy of it. And that even kind of bled into the process of coming up with a topic for the song. We came up with the instrumental. It took us a good portion of the day. We went for a hike. And towards the end, we were making coffee and we were like, okay, love song, making small gestures for like people that you love or just like your perspective on that sort of thing. And so
Right.
with that in mind and most of the instrumental done, we eventually would get to a point where we were like, all right, let's write these dang words. And so I forget how much time we set. It was maybe like 45-ish minutes. And we went into separate rooms and we each came up with like a couple hooks, a couple sections. And Ben was like, I have the chorus. And it included the words slip and fall. And we were like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And so that fell into place relatively easily. And the rest was just stuff that we just moved around and placed willy-nilly. I had like kind of a verse, and Keith had kind of a verse, kind of a pre-chorus, all these things. And then we couldn't figure out what to open the song with. So we just took the verse idea from Charlie and we put it in different time signature, the same key, and changed the words. And that was the song. And then in the end, we just smashed them all together, which is also what they do in Flower by Baby Boys and Threesome. Yeah. And it came together. It's a completely different song, and but the process was the same, and it was pretty cool. But I don't know, what was your guys' perspectives on the process of it? What am I missing?
I don't know. I just love that song. Like, I remember first hearing the chorus, not even just the melody, but the instrumental. Ben did this really cool thing with the kick where
Yeah.
it's on the offbeat every now and then, and it just
Right.
grooves so hard. And I remember being
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God!" And then Ben, like, I remember we all split up, and I struggle a lot with lyrics, and I was like, "Oh, this sucks. I'm gonna have nothing, and they're gonna have all these really good ideas." And then, yeah, Ben had that chorus, and it was just like it fit so perfectly.
Right.
And I would have never thought of that melody. I remember hearing it and being like, "What?" This is not what my mind was going to at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just worked out because we knew we were going to call it Slip and Fall, like the
Right.
album,
Yeah.
because we'd been
Okay.
calling it that just as a placeholder,
Yeah.
which we didn't even talk about that.
How much time do you
The
have?
sample.
My fault. How do you have like 5 more minutes at least?
No, yeah, keep going.
But yeah,
Okay.
we just we threw it together and we layered all our stuff and it was awesome. We were like, all right, this should probably be the title track. And I think I got sick of it quick because we ended up being the first single, so we spent a lot of time mixing and mastering that song and making the
Making
music
a bunch
video
of
and
fucking
doing
reels.
promotional stuff. And that came out like a month before the album, and by then I was just like, I never want to hear the song again. And
Right.
just like recently, I listened to it and I was like, this is good. That's why we used it as a single. I remember. I remember now.
Right.
Yeah.
There's also our friend Mason, like in I guess what you would call the bridge, like right before Caden's verse comes in. He's going like how. Later that night, I had sleep paralysis.
Oh.
I've had that maybe twice in my life, and I thought there was a vampire coming to get me, and the only thing I could hear in my left ear was Mason going how. It scared me so bad. I made like a yelp, and it like broke me up. So I don't know. That felt like a premonition.
Yeah,
For real.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slip and Fall, Pimp Down, Pimp and Digress. I need $150 million. Does that mean anything to you, Justin?
Not, I don't think so.
Slip and fall. Oh, pimp down, pimp in distress. Oh my God, pimp down, pimp in distress. I need $150 million.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this clip, um,
Okay.
and it's just funny, and it's just this guy falling in a grocery store,
Okay.
and
That's what we made the whole
like
album off of.
oh, this is actually the only other time we worked together. Like over a year before this, we went to Benton's house and we were like, let's mix a song. And
Hmm.
we made like an instrumental. It was pretty bad, but we used a sample from that video because I had just seen it on Instagram Reels. I was like, yo, this is funny. And the
Yeah.
guy's like, pimp down. So we put that in there. And yeah, so then when we were planning our trip to Florida, we were like just calling it Slip and Fall because that's what he says in
Okay.
the video. It's
Got
so
it.
stupid. It's so stupid. And yeah, but that was like kind of the through line for the whole thing is because we were
Yeah.
just like we were pulling random phrases from that clip into our lyrics,
Okay.
like pimp down and slip and
Pimp in
fall. And
distress.
somehow, by some miracle, we ended up giving it a different meaning than that
Yeah. Yeah.
video. And yeah, it's to the point where we don't even have to mention that's what it's from because no one would really guess. But
Right.
also in like a lot of the songs, there's like that video is sampled. So
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
I
yeah.
tried to put it in like most of them. Also,
Yeah.
the Andrew "It's Scorched Earth" clip is in like every song.
Oh,
Mhm.
really? Okay. Yeah.
Listen for it.
Yeah. There's like
It's
little
there.
Easter eggs in every song.
Oh yeah.
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 Ton of
Yeah.
those.
That's cool. I really, for one, really enjoyed the album. So like, I just wanted to talk it through.
Favorite?
Thank you. Yeah.
I think Lucky is my favorite.
Mm.
That's
Like
so
shit.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone
Lucky
says,
or Charlie.
yeah,
Yeah.
Valid.
Yeah.
Valid.
Those are good picks.
they
Yeah.
are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so I was like, but I realized like just because I know you guys, like, I mean, I've known you only so much, but like I know that you guys like put work into this. So I was like, I gotta find out like what went down because it
Yeah.
sounds great. Um, yeah, so thanks for doing this, which is pretty awesome.
It was such a
And
pleasure.
Thanks for
It was
reaching
fun.
out.
yeah, of course. So I know, is there going to be future collabs or
Oh
was
yeah,
this a one-off thing?
For
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
That would
not
be
a
Yeah.
Well,
definitely next year.
Benton just released an album called Arf Plus,
Okay.
and it's awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Super good.
Cool.
And Caden and I are just finishing up an album.
Awesome.
That we've been working on it for like a year, and it's my senior capstone. I've been
Nice.
using it as
Good.
my capstone to justify working on it all the time.
Yeah. Right.
But you know,
That's
I would have
what
made it. We would have made it anyway, obviously. But
Yeah,
so
exactly.
yeah, that's coming to a close now as well. So super exciting
Nice.
stuff. But yeah, we'll definitely be doing more stuff together. Partially
Cool.
because I want to go back to Florida, but also because it's fun.
Yeah,
It's
for
fun,
sure.
and apparently we make some pretty cool stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. We have a June 6th show coming up at Bethel. In Bethel, it's a Greenwood Features. We're opening for Ethan Fisk. It's going to be a great night, and you should come through. Outside of that, just be on the lookout on the Not Even Three Instagram, the Benton, the ArfHudson Instagram. All sorts of stuff announced there all the time, but really at Not Even Three. And Benton, what's your at?
Ben_1.0. I have to change it.
Yeah. But nonetheless, be on the lookout. We'll be posting all the time. It's going to be a busy summer for gigs and all that sort.
Awesome.
And we do want to keep working together, and we want to keep putting out good stuff. So everything in the space is going to be growing. So get in early.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. And I'll link everything in the description of the videos. Do you have anything else?
No.
It's just thank you. This has been such a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks.
Do it again.
I was super happy when you reached
Yeah.
out because we've been trying to promote this and like, yeah, it's fun to
Yeah.
talk about. We had a lot of
Yeah,
fun
for
making
sure.
it, and it
Yeah.
like was all we worked on for like even after the initial recording, there was like a good 2 months of just like mixing
yeah.
and mastering
Wow.
and making Instagram reels and recording music video and all this stuff. So
Yeah, nice. Is there a YouTube that
oh yeah,
this goes on?
at Not Even Three, we got
Okay.
the music video on there, and we're working on a bunch of stuff for that.
Cool.
It's going to be a busy
Oh,
summer
yeah.
for Not Even 3 content, so get
Nice.
ready.
Do we
Nice.
post the documentary? Does that
Not
ever
yet.
happen? Not
Oh,
yet.
it's going to happen, but
Oh,
that's
so it's
that's
on
a
the
project
It's
for
not
when we're
done,
not
but
at school.
on the
Right
horizon.
there.
yeah.
Awesome.